Today I'm going to give away a free t-shirt, bring you a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, bring you comics news, and reveal the books I bought this week. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching the Comic Hero Show. Now kick that intro! Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Dudley, and I am the Comic Hero. This month is NICU Awareness Month. Now, a NICU, or Neonatal Intensive Care Unit, is an intensive care unit that specializes in the care of sick and premature babies. And the word neonatal refers to the first 28 days of life. The first NICU was established in Yale New Haven Hospital sometime in the 1960s. And it resulted in NICUs being established at different hospitals throughout the country and later the world. And this is a NICU themed comic hero tee. Inside the speech bubble you have the baby footprints and then the hearts. And then you also have this NICU ribbon, NICU awareness ribbon. Now, I personally know some people who spent the first few days or weeks of life in a NICU. And I personally know some parents of a child who spent his or her first few days and weeks of life in a NICU. And I'm so glad that a lot of these children have made it. And, my heart goes out to all the parents whose children spent the first few days and weeks of life in the NICU and didn't survive. And my hat goes off to all the tireless doctors and nurses who go out of their way to make sure that these children are nursed to good health. And where would the world be without NICUs? There'd be a lot of death, and I'm so glad that the first one was established nearly 60 years ago, and they just worked wonders for a lot of babies who later grew up to be successful men and women. All right, it's time to give away a free t-shirt. All right, on last week's episode, I asked true or false. Before Abinsur's Power Ring chose Hal Jordan, it considered choosing Superman and the Dick Grayson Robin to become the Green Lantern of Earth. Now, I found out that this was a cutting room floor story that was later retracted by DC. They did this in order to add more excitement or to make the secret origin of the Hal Jordan Green Lantern to be a lot more interesting, but they later refuted it. So if you answered true or false, you're correct. And 7 people have, and because they have, their names have been entered in the drawing for a free tee. And that drawing takes place right now. So the winner of the free tee for this week's episode of the show is Bria Reno from Haynesville, Louisiana. So congratulations, Bria. You win yourself a free Comic Hero tee. Alright, here's the question for next week's episode, and this is a Marvel question. Black Panther is Marvel's first black superhero. Who is Marvel's first black American superhero? Alright, here's some hints. The first hint, this character debuted in Captain America number 117 in 1969. The second hint, this character made their cinematic debut in Captain America the Winter Soldier back in 2014 and is played by Anthony Mackie. And then the third hint, speaking of which, the character is also going to get a TV show alongside the Winter Soldier that's premiering on Disney Plus next year. And then the final hint, this character in the comics took on the mantle of Captain America before Steve Rogers took it back. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. Alright, now Jeremy Pardue from West Monroe, Louisiana has requested a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, and this one features two of the strongest characters on the X-Men. One from the future, and one from the present. Representing Marvel, we have Bishop, and also representing Marvel, we have Strong Guy. These two are going to duke it out in a segment I like to call the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Welcome to the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Today, it's Bishop versus Strong Guy. Bishop possesses energy absorption and redirection, superhuman physical attributes, and the ability to instinctively know present locations. Strong Guy possesses superhuman strength, which he can increase by absorbing kinetic energy and use it to enhance his physical strength to unmeasured limits. However, he cannot store the energy he absorbs for very long. As a rule, he must physically expend the energy within 90 seconds to prevent it from permanently distorting his body. He is in constant pain from the existing distortion, although he hides it well, traditionally playing the role of teen comedian to distract himself. Strong Guy also possesses superhuman stamina and durability. Who would win? Bishop is also very strategic. He shocks Strong Guy with a taser. Instead of being stunned or worse, Strong Guy becomes charged up with a huge amount of kinetic energy. He immediately begins to punch and kick Bishop. Instead of experiencing pain, the latter absorbs the kinetic energy and redirects it back at the former by delivering punches and kicks of his own. Strong Guy then absorbs the kinetic energy and goes after Bishop again. Unfortunately, Strong Guy fails to land any blows due to Bishop being able to duck them all. This results in Strong Guy becoming permanently distorted and Bishop ending the fight by delivering a vicious roundhouse kick to the head of Strong Guy. Bishop wins, and that concludes this fight on the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Alright, thank you Jeremy Pardue for that fight. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll have another one for next week. Now it's time for Comically Speaking, so without further ado, let's talk comics! Alright, there are two things that I'm going to talk about in this segment of Comically Speaking. The first one is that Samuel L. Jackson is starring in Marvel's Nick Fury series. Now it's coming to Disney Plus, and there hasn't been really a timetable as to when that's going to come out, but I'll definitely watch. I mean, when Brian Hitch years ago started writing the Ultimates comic series, he used the likeness of Samuel L. Jackson to create the Ultimate version of Nick Fury. And it was so well received that it was well received by everyone, including Samuel L. Jackson himself. And he had told the powers that be at Marvel that if there was ever a movie and that Nick Fury was going to star in it, he wanted in. And Marvel promised him, and they stuck to that promise. And he has delivered in every Marvel film that he's ever been in, and this is well deserved. I know it's going to be great, and it'd be even awesome if it co-starred any of the cast members of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I would love to see that. Wow. All right, now the second thing is that there is a brand new Sword monthly book coming to Marvel after X-Men 10 of Swords concludes. Now Sword is pretty much X-Men in space. It stands for Sentient World Observation and Response Directorate, and they deal with extraterrestrial matters on behalf of Earth. And some of the characters that we're going to see in it are Abigail Brand, who is the founder of Sword, Cable, Magneto, Manifold, Frenzy, WizKid, Fabian Cortez, and many other X-Men related characters. And I can't wait to read this. I mean, I really loved the first Sword series. It didn't really last that long, but let me tell you, it was quite the ride. I mean, come on, you have X-Men in space, which is what it pretty much is. I mean, how can you not love that? I'm definitely going to start reading that when it comes out. It comes out December of this year, and it's written by Al Ewing, who writes The Immortal Hulk and does an incredible job on that, with art by Valerio Schiti, who has been all over Marvel with his amazing artwork. Now, one character that's not going to be in it is Beast, and I mean, I'm okay with that, because really, from some of the books that I've read that Beast has been in, Beast has become a jerk. And I mean, come on. I think because Beast used to be this. Well, he used to be like the mutant version of Marcus Welby. Now he's like the mutant version of House. Just saying. I mean, he used to be very kind. Now he's just very horrible. And, you know, Abigail Brand is also horrible, so I really don't see two horrible people being in the same book. So I think Marvel knows exactly what they're doing in that regard. All right. That's it for Comically Speaking. Now let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
All right, first up is Action Comics number 1025. Aquaman number 63. Dark Knight's Death Metal, Speed Metal. The Flash number 762. The Immortal She-Hulk. Now, I want y'all to see this. Now, remember last week when I had said that Marvel was going to honor Chadwick Boseman? This is what I meant. Very wonderful gesture by Marvel. And they're going to do this with all their books for a month. Justice League Dark number 26. Shazam number 15. And finally, and I'm very excited about this book, X-Men Ten of Swords Creation. Part 1 of the Ten of Swords story arc that's going on in all the X-Men books. Alright, that's 8. Which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 10,207. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Here's the question again for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. Black Panther is Marvel's first black superhero. Who is Marvel's first black American superhero? Now, here are the hints again. The first hint, this character made their debut in Captain America number 117 in 1969. The second hint, this character made their Marvel Cinematic debut in Captain America the Winter Soldier in 2014 and was played by Anthony Mackie. The third hint, this character is going to have a show alongside with the Winter Soldier that's premiering on Disney Plus next year. And then the final hint, this character once took on the mantle of Captain America in the comics before he gave it back to Steve Rogers. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in the drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. And congratulations to Bria Reno from Haynesville, Louisiana, who won a free tee on this week's episode. All right, next week, and while I'm talking about this, let me go over the road ahead for the show. Now, next week is the 7th anniversary episode of the Comic Hero Show. Very excited about this. The T-shirt is ready. I'm gonna have it put on. I'm gonna put it on social media or post it on social media. And your job, and I'm gonna do the same thing that I did with the with the 300 episode shirt. I'm going to post a shirt on social media, and I'm going to give y'all, the fans, or anyone watching from any social media outlet, or following me on the social media outlet rather, the opportunity to like the shirt. And if you like the shirt, then your name will be entered in a drawing on the 7th anniversary episode. Now, for those of y'all that are watching directly from YouTube, I'm going to post a shirt in a video, and your job is to leave a comment. Now, it really does no good for any of y'all to like or love it. So please, if y'all want a shirt just like that one, leave a comment. And then that's episode 328. Episode 329, I'm going to raise awareness of breast cancer. Now, this is something that's near and dear to me. My mom is an 8-year breast cancer survivor, and I personally know several other breast cancer survivors out there. I mean, and I also know some women and men that have lost their battles with breast cancer. Now, you heard me right. I said men also. I read a story about a man that was battling breast cancer, and also former Price is Right announcer Rod Roddy died from breast cancer back in 2003. All right, now episode 330, I'm going to raise awareness of domestic violence. I personally know some people that were on the receiving end of domestic violence. Some survived, and a few of them survived, and a few of them have unfortunately lost their lives. I'm going to raise awareness of that. And then episode 331, Halloween. I'm going to raise awareness of Halloween also. Very excited about all 4 of these episodes. And if y'all have, I don't ask this as much as I need to, but if y'all have any suggestions, anything that y'all think will enhance the viewership of the show or enhance the show altogether, please let me know. Nothing that anyone ever says ever goes on deaf ears. Not with me. I always listen to everyone. All right, I'm Victor Nunley on the Comic Hero. I'll see you next week for the 7th anniversary episode, episode 328. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero.